Hey now all, this is the Spirit Doctor, Kelle Sparta, and you are listening to Spirit Sherpa, the show that helps and encourages you on your journey to unlock your magic mojo. Today I'm joined by Gabrielle Laura. Gabrielle is a niche expert and coach who helps women turn their story into a thriving coaching business through her signature trio. Starting over.
You got this. You got this.
I've had a migraine all day. My brain's just not working. Okay. Hey now all, this is the Spirit Doctor, Kelle Sparta, and you are listening to Spirit Sherpa, the show that helps and encourages you on your journey to unlock your magic mojo. Today I'm joined by Gabrielle Laura. Gabrielle is a niche expert and coach who helps women turn their story into a thriving coaching business through her signature trio, niche clarity, profitable programs, and aligned sales strategies. She went from making $0 in her business for the first 6 months to helping women all over the world find their aligned niche and use their stories to make an impact. If you're trying to find your secret sauce in the online business world, Gabrielle is your go-to girl. And Gabrielle is the first person that I am interviewing for our new series that we're doing, Becoming a Lightworker. Welcome, Gabrielle. I'm so excited that you could be here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. And I'm so honored to be the first person that you are interviewing with all of this. So I'm really excited for this episode. I'm so excited to do this live niche intensive and I can't wait to dive in. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm so excited. So just to give the listeners a little background, you and I had a conversation not that long ago in which we discussed the possibilities of what we could do, and you came on the show and what we could talk about, and the fact that I wanted to help people who were just starting out on their lightworker journey to find a path to it. And we came upon this idea of doing this live niche process that you actually do as part of your work, right? Yeah. Tell me again what it's called. It's a niche intensive. Is that right?
It's called a niche clarity intensive. And it's really when I sit down with people, aspiring and new entrepreneurs who are really struggling to find their footing in the business world, or established business owners that are looking to pivot. And I help them figure out their aligned niche. And that's what we're going to do today with Justine, which I'm so excited about.
That's exciting. And so what you guys need to know as listeners is that I actually spoke with Justine because she's a regular listener, and Gabrielle has not spoken with Justine. So Gabrielle has no idea who Justine is, except that she sees her name on the screen. So she's coming in completely cold, which is kind of the way that she would be working with a client. And so this is perfect for her. The only thing I told Justine in advance was to really think through what her story was and how she came to what she's doing. And that's the only instruction Justine has gotten. And so we're going to go from here. And so I'm going to just step back and watch and let you guys go.
Absolutely. Okay, great. So typically for everyone listening, how this works, and the reason why I prefer to do this kind of cold turkey is typically when somebody applies for a niche intensive with me, I don't look at their social media or their website because I want to see them just without any prejudgments in my mind of what I think that their aligned niche may be. I want to hear it directly from them. So typically this is a 90-minute session. This is going to be a much shorter time period. So we're really going to hit the ground running here. And what I'm going to do, Justine, is I am going to ask you in a moment to please share your story with me. And then what I do is I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to be clicking away on my keyboard. I'm very visual. I'm super intuitive when I do this, so I have to see it. So I'm going to be typing your story as you are telling me, and then I may have some follow-up questions or it may just click. I always say it's in the universe's hand. Now, before we jump into that, I do want to ask you, what is your goal? Is your goal obviously to start your own business? Is it to become a coach? Is it to become a consultant? What is your goal? To just give me a little bit of background now.
My goal is to expand my energy healing business that I do have. I am a Reiki master and a massage therapist, and I just finished my shamanic practitioner program. So I would like to add that to my business.
That is awesome. So do you feel aligned now with where you are in your business?
No.
Okay. Explain that to me. Walk me through that. Why not?
I feel that the Reiki was my entry point into the energy world, and that has now kind of just fallen off to the side. That helped me get to where I am now, and now I want to bring in the shamanic work that I do and keep my massage business going. So I want to more towards my shamanic practice than, Reiki and crystal healing and the things that I was doing before.
So do you want to do more in person or online?
I think I need to start exploring the online world. I absolutely know nothing about having my business online. So, and I know it could really expand my audience, my clients, I mean, everything.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And then last question before we dive in. In a perfect world, what would your business look like? Like, what is your vision? What is your absolute dream here?
I would like to help people that have had some kind of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that coming from an addiction myself, I believe that I can help people in a deeper way, and just get that.
Yeah. Just like get the alignment, right? Have it
Yeah.
all come together and
Right.
just have it all come together and get that alignment. And I lied. So one more question. How is your business now, if you feel comfortable sharing? You don't have to share numbers at all. But are you struggling to get in front of people? Are you struggling to get business through the door?
No, I think I have a steady stream coming.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be overwhelmed with business. I like to have, my time in between, but I really would like to just learn how to approach the online world, because I believe, doing long distance healings and things like that would really help my business and the numbers grow.
Absolutely. 100%. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to ask you your story, and I have my notes up here. So I'm going to mute myself just so you guys don't hear me clicking, but please share your story with me as much as you're comfortable, and as in depth as possible. Start from wherever feels natural and end wherever it feels natural. Don't think about that too much. I'm going to mute myself, and then I will hop off as I have questions.
Okay. Okay, so I grew up in a spiritual household. My mom encouraged imagination, belief in the unseen realm, everything that was beyond the ordinary world. I was encouraged to explore. That kind of changed in my own perception when I got to middle school. I kind of put that to the back because that really wasn't normal. I was finding out I was kind of weird. I found myself in an abusive relationship at 15 years old. I was pregnant by 16, and by the age of 21, I was an alcoholic, and that was a family issue that was very prominent in my family. I was finally able to leave that abusive relationship when I was about 20 years old, and then I found myself in another abusive relationship. So that went on for many years. And I decided something had to change at the age of 26. So I joined the United States Navy. I did 4 years in the Navy, married a wonderful man that I met in the Navy, and I've been with him for 14 years. I still had a very bad drinking problem. I continued that vicious cycle of self-loathing, guilt, shame, judgment of myself, judgment of others. Just name it. And it was this vicious cycle continuing. I would try to stop, and I'd go, for months without a drink, and then it would just slowly creep back in because I hadn't healed myself, or with a wound that was making this come up. So, moving around with the Navy, we went many places and ended up in Virginia in 2017. And I met a wonderful neighbor who was a meditation and sound bath practitioner. And she invited me to come to her meditation, and it was around the block. How could I pass this up? So I started going every Thursday, and this meditation and sound bath brought me back to my spirituality and brought me back to this focus. And this was only going once a week. And all of this started shifting inside me, all of these things, and looking at myself from a different perspective. And after about 6 months of being in her meditation, I woke up one morning and said, I am never drinking again. And I haven't touched alcohol since. It's like I never drank. So I don't crave. I can go to parties. I can be in social situations and I'm completely fine. It's like I had never tasted it or anything. So that was healing for my family members, for my daughter to see me transform myself. It was healing for my husband who stuck by me through all of those situations where it wasn't so nice. So with my new clarity of self, without that alcohol numbing me, I began to just dive into who I wanted to become. What was I going to do with all this new found clarity and energy that was coming in? So I decided to do a crystal healing course through Hibiscus Moon. And that was a 6-month course. And during that course, I met a wonderful woman who was a Reiki master. And she invited me to come and have a Reiki session with her. And it was profound. It was so wonderful to feel, to really have that universal energy coming through my body even more. So I was interested and I said I would like to get the Reiki attunement level 1 from her, and knew that I wanted to continue to become a Reiki master. So I became a Reiki master in September of 2020. And I also started my massage school. I thought going to massage school would be another way to share my energy with people. So the massage school I went to was Casey Riley School of Massage, which is a very spiritual based massage school here in Virginia Beach. And I graduated from the massage school in 2021. And during my massage school, I was speaking to the Reiki master who taught me, and she was a shamanic practitioner as well. And I was so interested and intrigued by shamanic practices and wanted to learn more about what that meant. So she said, well, I don't know if anybody's doing any courses with it, but I have a friend, let's go to her store. And that is when I was introduced to the medicine wheel. And it was a year-long program that you can learn the things to become a practitioner, or you can do it just to open yourself up in a deeper way. And I wanted to do it to become a practitioner. And as soon as I stepped onto the wheel, I was basically ripped, whatever you want to say, open. And all of my wounds that I was trying to spiritually bypass came to the surface, and I was just torn in half. And throughout this wheel, I healed and looked and cried and screamed, and everything that I ever wanted, and I said I wanted it, was coming. So I was in that program for a year and just graduated that program in October of this year, 2021. And now I'm trying to bring all of the things that I've learned into my own medicine, into how I can share my experiences, my life, my addictions, my turbulence that I had, and how I can help people not have to go through such a rough time, and it just helped them see their light.
I wrote down on here as you were talking, and I said, I just want to give her the biggest hug. I was like listening to you, and I was like, I just want to give you a hug. What a beautiful story. And it's like, this is why I love doing this, because it puts my jaw on the floor to hear people's stories. You navigated so much. And what was really interesting to me, what kept sticking out was as you were going through your addiction, right? And you said it yourself, like, I just kept pushing everything down. Nothing was healed. And that's why I continued. It wasn't until you moved to Virginia, you met this neighbor, you went to her meditation. That was your transformational experience there, where that was a blessing, right? A massive blessing.
Absolutely.
And Right. And that was your transformational experience. So let me backtrack here. What I really look for in people's stories to really help them make it profitable and impactful, both are so important to me from a business standpoint, is that transformational experience and what their aha moment was. And that was your aha moment. So let me ask you this. Who are you targeting right now in your business?
I am targeting, doesn't matter gender, male, female, all the things that encompasses.
Mhm.
I am trying to target people who are ready to do their work, who are ready to step over that threshold of you help me and fix me,
Right.
to someone who says, I understand that I need help with this problem.
Mhm.
Can you help me instead of fix me
Right.
type of client?
So you are so on the right path with that. I think the part that you are missing, and maybe where that unalignment is present, is it's not a specific person, right? It's kind of like anybody who's just ready to heal. And in that case, we talk to everyone. And that, even though it may feel like there's so many people out there who don't want to heal, we're still talking to such a vast group of people that what we want to do to really get this business off the ground and get it making the income that you want, that supports your lifestyle goals, is to go from this to this. And this really freaks people out because they're like, oh my gosh, well, that's such a smaller group. And I always say you will make so much more money and impact focusing on this small group, because you're speaking directly to them as opposed to just anybody who's ready to heal, right? So sometimes it takes me a while to get to, but in your case, right away, I wrote it down. I actually wrote it down on the sticky before I started typing. If you were to focus on alcoholics, I want you to think about Justine, and I'm going to say Justine 10 years ago, let's say. Let's say that we focus on 2010 Justine, an alcoholic, really pushing down those wounds, unhappy, doesn't know where to turn, right? But she knows that she does not want to do this anymore. Like, you knew you didn't want to live like that for your husband, for your daughter, for yourself. That's who you target. That is your person. It is Justine, 2010 Justine, let's call it.
Okay.
And so if you niche down, Justine, to just helping everyone to, I help alcoholics deeply heal their wounds so that they stop drinking. And I can guarantee you that your reach will be so much more impactful, specific. Your focus will be deeply ingrained there because you know who you're speaking to. You're not speaking to everyone who's spiritual. You are specifically targeting alcoholics who want to change, but they are struggling so hard to do that. Just like you, when you would go, like a couple months without drinking, and then you would just go back to the drink. That's who you're searching for. You are searching for that man or woman who is dealing with that right now. And you take them under your wing and you help them deeply heal those wounds so that they officially stop drinking, just like you did. They never want to pick it up again. The taste isn't attractive to them. They can go to parties, but they're healed. And you heal them through your practices, right? Through all the certifications that you've gotten. Like, you can put together a sweet program, 3 to 4 months, high ticket program, if that feels aligned for you, that involves teaching them how to massage, right? Assuming that they're online. Reiki with them, deep energy healing, and other practices, sound baths, meditations, other practices that you did that got you these results. You turn that into your signature framework. You own that framework. You trademark that framework. That's yours. And you use it on people who are really struggling with alcoholic addiction.
That sounds beautiful.
How does that feel? Like, does that feel, did it hit well, or what are the concerns there?
It feels wonderful. It really hits, it resonates. Trying to come up with the program is a little intimidating. I was trying to do a smaller program, and it was blowing my mind out into all these different things. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's scary.
Go down. Yeah.
Yeah. And especially too, if you're really just starting to get ingrained with the online space, it is scary. I don't care what anyone says, putting yourself out there like that, positioning yourself, excuse me, as the expert and saying like, hey, I have a framework and I can really help you. And doing that is scary. And acknowledge that, like really own that and follow that fear. And always think back to 2010 Justine. What did she need? What could she have used? Like, I want you to be who you needed back then. You now have the ability to be that person now for somebody else. I'm like, what an honor that is. I always like to showcase that for people because so many times when we're navigating such a hard thing in our life, and I can't imagine how hard that was to deal with, it takes us a long time to really get to the other side and look back and be like, wow, maybe I went through that to now help somebody else who's navigating that. It's beautiful. It is. It's so don't get super overwhelmed with putting together your program. Here's what I want you to do for that. I want you to write out the end goal. What do you want this person to walk away with by the time they're done working with you? And then I want you to reverse engineer that. What is the first thing that has to happen? And feel free to break this down into phases. So typically when I do this with my clients, it'll typically be a 3 to 4 month window. It can be 6 months, it can be 12. It does not have to be 3 or 4, but that's typically what it is. Everyone is different. I want you to break it down like step 1, phase 1. That's going to be your first month. Phase 2, month 2. Phase 3, month 3. 4, 5, 6. However long you feel you need to work with somebody to get them to the other side. And whatever that result looks like, my suggestion would be deep healing of their wounds. And I think it's probably going to have to be longer than 3 months because I'm going to assume that, yeah, it's not like maybe your 6-month program. Maybe it's not something that happens right away. I'm going to assume not. But honor that. Really, really honor that it's going to take time, but also don't hesitate to put together kind of a smaller package for people too, who may not be able to invest that time frame or who want to give you a test drive, right? Before they invest long-term.
That sounds good.
Yeah. So I hope that helped answer the program. Just make sure that it's priced accordingly. And this is what really throws people off, but you really don't want to lowball yourself here because people really look at what's going on in the market, right? So if I come to Kelly and I'm like, Kelly, I really need help. Can you help me? And Kelly says, yep, my 3-month program is $450. And then I go to Justine and Justine has a similar program, can solve the same problem. And Justine says, oh, mine's 5,000. I'm going to sit here and say like, this is just very far off. So how come Kelly's was so much lower, right? It gets confusing. So I want you to really honor the certifications that you have in your pricing, the experience you have above all else, and price that accordingly, for sure. And it is, of course, dependent on the sessions you guys do, how long those are, the support that's included, if Voxer support. I'm not sure if you've heard of Voxer before, but Voxer is I'm going to write it in here just in the chat so that you have it. It is a walkie-talkie app. It's a free app. You don't have to pay for, nor does your client, but it's your ability to talk with them without giving out your phone number. A lot of coaches use it. So say you offer 9 to 5, Monday through Friday Voxer support, and you have a call with the client every other week that are 60 to 90 minutes, and that's 6 months long. That's at the bare minimum, $1,000 a month just to start, like the bare minimum. Likely a lot more than that. But it's also, I always tell people with sales, like you have to feel comfortable saying the number, but definitely just make sure that you don't shortchange yourself on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
How does the alignment feel? Like, how does it feel?
It feels wonderful. I mean, it would feel so good to be able to be the person that I wanted someone to me. I mean, it's emotional.
Yeah. Yeah. own that. Like those emotions are coming forward for many reasons, but maybe it's because your inner child right now is like, we made it. This is it. This is what we were meant to do. We experienced that and we healed from that. And we went on that grueling freaking journey to be here. And now you are at the point, Justine, where you can step into that space and you can open your heart and you can hold space for the 2010 Justines.
Absolutely.
Who are begging for someone. Maybe they're in AA, maybe they're in traditional therapy, and maybe just nothing is sticking. And you are their answer.
Yes.
And so whenever you feel the sense of imposter syndrome or fear or anxiety really creeping in, I want you to just remove yourself from it and say, it is not about me. It is about 2010 Justine. It's not about who's judging my Instagram post or my podcast episode or what. It is about helping one person at a time get to the other side.
That's beautiful. That was perfectly said.
That was straight from the heart. And that, you know, I see it all the time. It's so many people have these beautiful, beautiful stories and they don't give themselves enough credit for really what they've been through, right? And it's like, really honor your journey, honor your story, and honor giving yourself permission to step into this space and own it. Really, I would definitely, for you though, I'd 100% recommend jumping into the online space as best you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've done a couple live videos and that's about it.
Yay, good for you though. That is huge. But I think now, Justine, that you have the focus. Of course, if it's feeling aligned, and I'll give you my email, I'm going to put it in here, and you can email me if something feels off and we can kind of go back and forth. But you now have the focus. You know, I'm helping those 2010 Justines.
Yes.
That's who I'm helping. And I want to help alcoholics who deeply want to heal. I help them dig deep within themselves and heal those wounds so that they stop drinking. Let me write that out for you. I'm going to mute myself just so you don't.
So Justine,
Yes.
how are you feeling?
I'm feeling a lot of stuff. I'm surprised. I'm feeling emotional. I have tears that are right on the verge of coming out. And I'm all about letting them out. You know, don't hold it in, just be a porous vessel. But I am excited. I think, you know, I've always thought, you know, maybe that would be something that I could help people with, you know, something that I've experienced so deeply that I understand exactly where you are. I understand exactly what you're feeling. I understand that you want to go grab that drink and it just, you know, puts fire in your veins. I understand. And just to know that my experience can help somebody, it's emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And I get that a lot in the intensives. People will just break down and they're like, I didn't expect this, because here's the huge difference, right? Before you had a niche, now you have an aligned niche. And there is a massive difference there. And a lot of people don't get it until they step into that alignment and they're like, holy cow, this is it. Because now I'm sure, like, when you brainstorm content, right? You sit in your quiet space and ask yourself the question, what would I have to hear 10 years ago? And then you write that out. And now you solve it. How to stop drinking, how to heal your wounds, 5 ways to heal your wounds, 5 things to do if you're really feeling the urge to drink. Here's maybe why you're struggling to put the drink down, right? All of those content ideas, like, now you can speak to directly because you're just talking to yourself 10 years ago. Right. And that's it. And people really, I find they really confuse, like, your dream customer, you have to have this whole demographic. And I just approach it as, it is an older version of you. It is a past version of you that you are speaking to. And in my opinion, it just makes it so easy to like relate to that person. And I think you're going to find, as you really step into this and give yourself permission to, you start attracting people with very similar stories to what you had.
Right.
I have to say that from my experience, that is very true. I have found that to be absolutely true in my own business. So I'm just going to give 2 thumbs up to that advice.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Justine, do you have any questions? I know that was really fast. And I was telling Kelle before, I'm like, sometimes it comes to me right away. Other times it takes me a hot second. That one came to me right away. So, and most importantly, it's not what comes to me, it's what feels aligned for you. I'm just the messenger, an outsider, and really helping you facilitate that. And this is why I didn't want to look at any of your things beforehand, because it takes away from the moment, right? It takes away from that aha. If I came in knowing that you struggled with alcohol addiction and that's your thing, I wouldn't have had the same energy. But when it really comes naturally, I hope that you can feel that, and then that really helps the alignment.
Yes, it really helped. And I didn't even know it was going to go this way. You know,
no one ever does. It's a surprise. So I should put like a disclaimer, like this will probably be a surprise.
Right. Very much so. But it's good. It's a good and a deep part of me. And I like it. I want to bring this up to the surface more. It's like, wow, why haven't I been doing this all the time?
Yeah, exactly. And it's, well, and give yourself grace with that, because it's very hard to pinpoint it yourself. It's a billion times easier for somebody who doesn't know a thing about you besides your first name to hear that and say, Justine, wait a second. It makes the world of it. I can't even do it myself, you know, like it's hard because we're so close to our genius, or the fear is just a total brick wall, always.
Yes, it is. It very much is. And I've been stepping to saying yes. And when Kelle asked me if I'd like to come on a podcast, I said yes.
Yay!
And then I was like, God, what do I need to do? Oh.
No, we keep it minus my technical difficulties with everyone who's watching. My microphone was acting up. But besides that, we crushed it. And I feel super excited for you. And are there any like questions that you have that are just kind of top of mind? I know you're marinating on this that I can answer before we hop off while you have me.
When you're starting to explore the online world for your business, where do you start to do that? I mean, there's probably tons of things that I can go look up, but where is a good starting point to start to research that?
Yeah. So I want you to think about, one, what feels good to you? Is that Instagram? Is that Facebook groups? Is that TikTok? What feels good to you? And 2, where do you feel that your dream customer, like where is 2010 Justine hanging out? Where was she looking for answers? Was it YouTube? I know TikTok wasn't around then. Was it maybe Instagram? Like, where were you searching for answers? Was it podcasts? And that's not something you have to answer now. Get grounded in that. But that's where I want you showing up. You have an I help statement. I put it in the chat here. I help alcoholics deeply heal their wounds so that they stop drinking. It's specific and it's tangible. And that's what I always look for when it comes to these niche statements. I want to make sure that there's a result that's not live their dream life, like something fluffy. This is concrete and it's to the point. So your dream customer will land on your Instagram page, whatever, and be like, wow, that's me. I'm an alcoholic. I'm struggling like crazy right now. She can help me heal so that I can stop drinking. But yeah, so I want you to just get very grounded in where you feel most aligned to show up. Video is huge. Instagram's a biggie. Social media is tricky because then you're at the mercy of the algorithm. I would definitely recommend an email list, but that kind of comes once you have a community.
Right.
But if you follow me on like a Instagram or go to my YouTube, I have a ton of videos and content on this that will definitely help you with the starting point, because the people I speak to are you. They're people just starting their coaching businesses. So all of that will be on there for you if you want to just kind of scroll through that.
Great. Absolutely. I will do that.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to do this. And Kelle, thank you so much. This was such an honor, and how fun.
This was great. I'm sitting there watching you connect with your guides and channel this information. It's just freaking awesome. So
I
yeah,
sat down before this and 30 seconds before, and I was like, all right, universe, just speak through me for this next hour. And I do that before every session. And people think I'm like so cuckoo, but I do. I sit down and I ask that. Like, I'm please calling you forward. Let's do this.
not on this podcast. We
Yeah,
don't
right.
think we go here. Not here. We go, we talk to our guides all the time. It's awesome to watch you do it. You know, this is why I asked Gabrielle to come on, is because it was clear to me that she was being divinely guided to do this work. And so that's why I wanted her to be the starting point, because finding your niche is the starting point to becoming a light worker. If you don't know who you're talking to, you can't build a business. And so this is why it's so important to have that moment of clarity and find that peace. And so, Gabrielle, if people out there are doing the thing I've been doing in the back of my head, going, "Ooh, I wonder," right? If they're doing that for their businesses or their thoughts about a business, how would they reach you?
So you can find me on Instagram. So that's at Gabrielle with 2 E's, Lara. I have a YouTube channel. I know Kelly's going to put that in the show notes. On my website, GabrielleLaura.com. I say Laura funky. It's Laura. I'm from Boston, so I say a little weird. It's Laura. But typically Instagram, YouTube. I also have a podcast, Gabrielle Lara Show, but I'm all around, and Kelly will put some links below.
Yeah, there'll be a bunch of links in the show notes. So keep your eyes open for those. And you do this is called your
Niche Clarity Intensive. Yes. So this is one of my offerings, but it's certainly the most popular, and it just really helps people kickstart their journey into the entrepreneurial space and really their healing journey. Like, there's a lot of healing that goes into it too, but that is down the line.
Yeah, big time. I can tell you, starting a spiritual business, starting any business, but specifically a spiritual business will be a healing process. Just, it's a journey like everything else.
It is no joke. Yep. For sure.
All right. So Gabrielle, I warned you.
Yes.
This will be your moment I'm going to ask you for a Gabrielleism instead of a Kellyism to sort of wrap up what we've talked about today.
Absolutely. So yes, we went through with Justine, and now Justine has finally found alignment in her niche, and she is going to now step into the space of helping alcoholics deeply heal their wounds so that they stop drinking. And she is going to take her story, her experience, and talk to her self 10 years ago, the 2010 Justine, and start making an impact in this world. And I just feel so honored to have been able to been alongside you and finding that alignment. So seriously, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Gabrielle.
And thank you. So I'm going to just wrap that up real quick and say the you of the past is the client of the future.
Yes.
How about
Absolutely.
that?
I
All
love
right.
that so much.
Okay. So, and with that, that is all we have for this week's episode of Spirit Sherpa. I'm Kelle Sparta here with Gabrielle, Laura, and Justine and Sonia, and you have been listening to Spirit Sherpa. So long, everyone.
Bye.